Hi, Cancer. All right. So, this is your reading. This is the setup I'm going to go for this time. Hope it's manageable with all my things that I have. Yeah. So you see here now, this here and these here are all, they're very interesting cards to be next to each other because it's so much of a pattern, right? It's like almost like you could read like this, like through the gates, here you are. You know, like this is what you're being drawn towards, and you may like have questions of like, well, how do I understand and notice that? Notice where you're getting crumbs or where you're giving only crumbs of yourself. Notice where things are unbalanced and unfit. How do you do that? Well, you start to recognize and write down everything that you do, or become very clear of your roles in your life. Like, what are the roles that you play? Who are the people who you can also be yourself around, and where you don't feel like you have to play a role? Notice if like how deeply that can get, like maybe step by step. This is the coach in me, and or the very, anyway, evolving person. And then take that through your body. Start to look at one by one, or sit with one, or maybe you start to notice, then you go throughout your day, and then you get the feeling, and notice what feels heavy. Notice what is carrying a lot more weight. Notice where there maybe needs some clearing of energy. Before your month even comes, I want to say there will be a lot of clearing in your sign. Everyone will be going through a lot of clearing. I was looking ahead a little bit because it's best for me not to as much, because that's where my clarity and my intuition shine. But to then gathering this information, I just depict things a certain way, and I get feelings, and I use, different words or art expressions to notate it. And that was specifically a sticker that's like clearing. So this is also could be the karma that we talked about. Is like your karma now is that with this grand idea, with this focus, with this opportunity, and here we have the bottom that was once before, come out through this time while maybe Venus is in Taurus, and Mars will also move into Taurus as well on this the 9th. Oh no. Oh yes, the 9th. Yes, the 9th of June. And that is right after we experience the new moon in Gemini. So that may be around the time that you have to maybe decide or take a look at what you've been offered. What this Hangman energy is showing up to be is that it could be the self-sabotaging aspect. You may have a little touch of that, perhaps as if like you can't handle it, and they're like opposites. Like she rests assured, open-hearted, could be fertile, right? There's so much going on around her that it's already being created. Her vision is being expanded, and her voice. And the vision is your voice and your sight and everything coming to life. Think about music. If you're a musician, definitely work and get in touch with that side of yourself. Highly recommend at this time. When you think about this idea, when you bring it into your body, if it closes you up, the next thing that you need to ask yourself is, what value does this hold? What structure does this give your life? And could you be flexible? Could you be okay with knowing that this, within those 10 wands, maybe 8 of them need to be left behind? That emotionally they cost you too much. And it's okay that you are not the one rising to the occasion. There will be another, better suited and portrayed. And maybe it's time you don't look at things that way necessarily. Because what you're headed towards, yes, it may hurt and feel, almost harsh at times. Because it almost feels like this has been ripped out of your life. Yet, Cancer, this is the subconscious. This has been brewing for months. And if you do take a look back, and once you will see You'll see how in the ways in which that's kind of beautiful to me personally. And I feel like you also find the poetry and you find the art in this, is that when you look back, you can almost see how you've been traced along, and that's your intuitive side of yourself, where like you can be connected with the knowing the whole step of the way, but it almost defeats the purpose of living. But then sometimes that can get in the way of you really harnessing your power, right? See how that can happen, which can also get in the way of your ego, and then so forth and so on. This Two of Wands is you reimagining your life. Like, look, same thing, it's behind, but he's not touching it. Now you're in touch emotionally with your subconscious, with the parts of you that are going to be exposed to yourself and to others in ways in which that you do not have a choice over, maybe. We're still talking moon cycles here, but the Aquarius full moon doesn't show up for another month. Oh, this is Pluto. Haha, here we are. Pluto will go retrograde into Capricorn, but that doesn't happen until deeper into July, I believe, July, August. So for now, the way this appears in your chart, allowing yourself to have a break mentally. You know something's coming, but the break mentally could mean to have your hands moving, could be sleeping a little bit more, taking a little bit more rest for yourself as well. Because this idea is going to spread regardless. And it's just so much up against, there's so much up against it for some reason, Cancer. You may realize that you've been holding yourself back from processing something really important. It also is important for your energy to understand the power of health and the wealth of health as well. This is also Uranus. Uranus. This time is disrupting a certain sense of where you have been comfortable, right? Because that's also what the fixed signs are experiencing in this Taurus energy, is that we know you love to be comfortable, but there isn't much time for that right now. There are things to innovate, there are things to invent, and yet you're like, but yes, you are a human. Well, you're the crab. Your shell is being upgraded as well. You understand the depth of presence and willingness to form an idea, where you also have to move on and deal with the past, all within, especially if you have your own company. Could be that your role within the company or wherever you work is changing, or you are changing it up in jobs. There's transitions happening all around. With fixed signs, it's like, okay, then everything else does change along with it. Now this area of your life is also affecting your money making, because we have the 8 and then we come down to the 7 here. You will have to face through this process, through this journey, somewhat of harsh realities of what you're looking at. Things that you have maybe waited on or settled for a while. I'm going to put them all out because I think they really do show the story pretty well. We also kind of want to see slightly what's underneath a little bit right now. Okay, so almost sharply this is abrupt for you, especially for your psyche. However, it's because that you are so emotionally supported and divinely supported and karmically supported right now that this is another way of interpreting and understanding that, oh wow, 2 right under the 2. Didn't even know this. You probably did. You're playing on like 3s. So what you're now willing to do is take it down to a thought, put it in your hands, and look at the responsibilities you have and what you're weighing out and the options that you have and what you're weighing out before your conscious mind might want to take a rash decision, but your subconscious mind is like, that's not how we operate. We need boundaries. We need a moment. And what do you do with that? Well, you look into your future that's unknown and the vision that you have and you want to uphold, and you decide, well, which one's more important? Maybe you look into the shadow and you give yourself a moment. Hey, here you are. We're going to take you out. I'm going to take you out. Maybe you'll get taken out. Maybe there's a Libra or a Taurus that also has an eye for you, and you will get in touch with them. Could be a potential partner match in terms of purpose or direction. For some of you, though, specifically, it could be about partnership of love and marriage that brings also business and purpose with it. That is very specific, though, I understand. What this other option here seems to be is you not choosing the swords. That you go back to these wands and you see here, well, what if those 2 weren't even options? You know, what do I need to see clearly within these moon cycles right now? This is also Pisces. And Saturn will retrograde in Pisces. Okay. So, and that is in your 9th house. Yeah, so what you're learning about yourself, you also may need perspective. So if you can travel and want to, and then it might be even spontaneous. That may be really good for you towards the end of the month as well. But it's also right, this is my kitty, as we enter, oh kitty, I'm sorry guys, he's just been, you know, we're just gonna do a little reshuffle then. I'm just making sure no cards fell. Hold on 1 second for me. Kitty needs to be paid attention to, is my guess. All right, we're gonna just do a little reshuffle and continue to talk about that. I'm really sorry about that. Unexpected things coming up. So what it was, though, is your decision and your ability to go within yourself and see what is really guiding you at this time. Again, going back into the body, the psyche, the outlook, where you want to go, how you want to maneuver, what this looks like moving forward, especially if there's a giant orange cat in your way. Sweetie, this is a reading. And no, I love you. I do. Come on. Come on, kitty. I love you. Love. Hopefully he'll stay in the space that I brought him to this time. Nope. I'm so sorry. Gonna try to hold him a little while we do this. Okay. I'm so sorry. Let's get back into it. Only 2 minutes. So you will notice that at this time in your life, you may find yourself more dedicated to this path, to a greater sense of self, a greater knowing. You may be guided there indirectly, and you may be like, okay, this again. Or you may invite it. You may find you're in one of those spaces that you invite this mysterious alone time where you may absorb different knowledge. Here it comes back out. Here we have it at the bottom. A different source of knowledge. And the sun is now shining for your excitement of this path. Shining for what's to come. And it may not be what's in front of you. Aha. Right, there's wands right behind him. And one, he's touching each of one of the wands, right? But one of them will really give life. And then we have the 5 at the bottom. And then the 6, that no matter whatever you choose, you'll confidently redirect yourself at this time. You may find that your vision is being expanded. That what is occurring is giving you more faith in Pluto. In this, wow, a lot more faith, Cancer. These are all mostly majors, and we have the Temperance again at the bottom. So what you see here, again, all these majors, is that you're being given the fire signs. You've been given the fire, the energy, the will, but the luck. There's luck here too. The Fool is lucky, but light on his feet as the baby. He can't take his castle with him. He understands that the castle is only a part of what he's created, but you can't take everything with you. Again, another Virgo card resurfaces, and it could be Mars and Aries also very much communicating with you at this time, but it isn't until Mars goes into Taurus that you want to physically act upon this. Then around the 9th you may feel that urge and you start to move over into the physical creating of this reality. It becomes even more clear to you at this time that what's being shared with you is deeply insightful to the tools that you already have and that you have been creating and focusing on. That these tools have given way to this idea to be created, that everything you have and everything you need is already available to you at this time, and that there is a lot of faith and trust in the mystery. And to not fear external judgment, to not fear any external pressure, right? Maybe that's what you need to make clear and evident with any external people, pressure, situations, that you are processing something very important to you. And it could be through this action and through this way with yourself and being committed to that grand idea that becomes an enjoyment of your life and your spirit, and you feel maybe even lighter than you felt in a long time. And for those of you who I know get afraid, it's showing you in real time what's happening. That this is important for your soul, for allowing yourself to be seen, regardless if, you've asked for it. Giving space to the ideas and also what's coming out, perhaps, about someone. What's coming out comes out around that Sagittarius full moon. Oh my God, the Sag and the Virgo cards. The Sagittarius and the Virgo may be the one relaying about the Sagittarius. and what they were willing to allow you to do and look past. Maybe you were doing a lot of the work. Maybe that was a part of the task. And now you have more control over the situation, because what you have cleared yourself of is understanding that when you're being told truth, you feel it, right? That's also, I think, what this Leo and Taurus is, and even Virgo are trying to relate to. You know and you feel it. And now you're able to perhaps take your power back from a situation that maybe costed you. Either way, you're being divinely influenced to continue with the skills that you've acquired, and to not focus solely on what is in front of you, but being open again to that present and future, to the future and what could be possible there. That's what's recreating your idea of what work looks like. If you have a certain structure around it, Cancer, you're breaking free from this at this time. We're just going to get a few more cards to round off the reading. Again, that extra influence of Pluto and Scorpio. Haha, look at this. Interesting. Oh my God, we have this one too. We're going to keep this one at the bottom too. Sweetie. Sweetie. I have my kitty right next to me, so he feels comforted. Sweeties. Oh, look at this evolution here. It's like all the Pokemons. We're joking about that. I heard that joke. I was like, oh my God, so true. All the different versions of yourselves. And we have this guy too, though. So now that you're in yourself, Cancer, and you're doing your thing, of course, all these suitors come running towards you. And because a part of this new idea, I think what that has been missing is that there's also love. You've been digesting, perhaps, and emotionally experiencing some things that you realize you don't also want in relationships moving forward, and you're allowing things to process as they are. And again, in that depth of it all, in that grievance of losing either a specific person or relationships, you find abundance in this time that you have. You may find yourself focusing on yourself so much that you're not able to give too much. Again, that decision that you made, it looks like, you know you can't take it with you. So if anyone's not on board for this energy that I'm putting out right now, and just it starts to show you, especially when you decide something so much in a direction and you're so clear about that, a lot starts to show up that won't work out with this new direction. So that is also that moving forward while you're also realizing like what you're losing. And you may find different versions of the same person show up, right? Could be Scorpio, could be another water sign, someone who you may not find yourself ready, so you need either it's 3 different people and you're seeing all different versions of yourself, but really you're just waiting to find the person that maybe can meet your match, because you realize like the more comfortable you are in yourself at any given time, the more that people want to entice you, persuade you, romance you. And you're like, well, I could be distracted by that. But you realize like, no, I don't want to be distracted right now. I want to be given a real offer, right? You're offering the universe a real offer. And you're like, no, I kind of want to be like, I know I want to be emotionally invested, that we know to be true, but like I want to be, it's gotta unmatch, right? And you find what you've been influenced by before, and now you feel way more emotionally sturdy here in this time. That through this processing with yourself and this understanding of your nature, of how you digest, that moving forward is digesting for you. That's what helps. Creating helps. That through this creating, through this expression of yourself, you find yourself here, you know, committing to this world, to yourself, to this idea, to security, to this kind of security, your emotional security. Again, this lion presenting a very Leo-like creature. Maybe there's a Leo in your life who provides excellent mentorship or advice or reflection, as well as an Aries. But remember, whatever is revealed to you, and no matter how you feel when you hear this news, or whatever you'd like to call it, everyone gossips in Gemini season. However, just notice what the intent is behind the gossip. Is the intent, regardless of how you feel, because definitely process that, but like, what is the intent behind it? And what happens? Do you lose your power? Or do you gain it? And you stand up and you decide some things and you go over some things and then you plant some things and you create, and then you attract someone who also wants to create with you. But remember, if they're overly demanding of your time, what kind of commitment is that? You want someone who's about to enter a new world with you. It's like, all right, we're there. Now this is more fixed sign energy. We're ready for the new world. We're committed. There's more to this. There's more here. I want more with you, and you decide that too. The right person will give you the time. They will not pressure you, Cancer, and vice versa. Think that's good before your season. All right, Diamond. We'll see you soon.